Hi and welcome back to the countertop. And today I'm doing challah bread from this book. Hi and welcome back. And the recipe I'm doing today is from this book, The 100 Most Jewish Food by Alana Newhouse. This very small book actually, so it's very cute book, very small. It has 60 recipes over these 100 Jewish foods overall, and most of these recipes are from well-renowned chefs, most of Jewish chefs, or sometimes writers, or classic Jewish celebrities. So it's a very interesting take. And the recipe we're doing today is a challah bread. I'm not going to get into the details about the symbolism of the challah bread over the Jewish culture. I don't know anything about that, so I prefer not to say anything wrong about this. But it's a classic bread. It's a very well-known bread with that twisted shape and the sesame seeds on the top. And the recipe we're doing is from Aina Admoni. She's the chef and owner of the Balabusta restaurant in New York. So it's also to make 4 loaves, which might be too much, but let's see how it looks. I also put in the description the link, the affiliate link from Amazon to buy the book. So if you want to buy the book and support the channel, might be the best thing for you to do it. And let's go for the ingredients. So here's all the ingredients that we need for our recipe today. So we're gonna need 2.5 cups of whole milk, 8 cups and 2/3 of all-purpose flour, 1.5 tablespoons of active dry yeast, 3/4 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of canola oil. You're also going to need a little bit more later for testing. 3 large eggs, 1.5 tablespoons of kosher salt, and some white sesame seeds in the end for splitting on top of the breads. All right, so let's start doing it. So the first thing, you're gonna heat the milk in a small saucepan over low heat until it's just warm to touch, and then you're gonna move to the next step. We have warmed the milk, and now I just transfer all the flour to the stand mixer. I'm not sure if it's going to have some space here, but let's see if it works. I'm gonna make a wheel in the middle of this, just to have some space in the middle. And I'm gonna drop here all the yeast, few drops of the honey, so just a little bit of the honey. It's something around like 1/2 cup of milk. And you're gonna let this sit for 10 minutes until we start to get foaming here, and then we continue. So let me put this here. And while we are waiting, I'm gonna combine here in the bowl the remaining of the milk, all the honey, the canola oil, and 2 of the 3 eggs. Now we're gonna mix these until make sure everything is combined. Probably also having the honey dissolve a little bit with the egg yolks. And now finally, you're gonna put the salt. As you can see, the yeast starts to bubbling around in this honey and milk mixture here. And now I'm going to start putting this slowly, something around like 1/2 cup of time every time until we mix. And when you have everything mixed, we're gonna change these from the paddle attachment to the dough hook to knead the dough, okay? So now our stand mixer pretty much did the big hard work, but still needs some extra knead. But before that, let's get our bigger bowl here, put a little bit of canola oil here, and coat pretty much all the sides of it, because this is where we're going to proof our loaf. And now let's get our dough, but before, lightly flour our surface here. Now let's just knead a little bit more of the dough before putting to proof. You want to get a very soft and velvet texture on the dough, so it's important for you to do some extra kneading here. And it's a lot of dough. Like I can see now how many loaves we're going to do with that. It's a lot of dough. Let's start shaping into the ball. So we can create some tension around the dough, and the dough can rise a little bit more, like contain more about the rising, and make the rise more efficient. Let's get our bowl, and first going to put this inside up, so we can get some of the olive oil to coat on the top. Not the olive oil, the canola oil to coat on the top, and then you put on the bottom, and then you just move around to make sure all the cover of the dough has some oil. And you're gonna we're gonna cover these now with a damp cloth or plastic wrap. And you're gonna let these rise for something between 1 to 1.5 hours until basically double the size. So it will be way bigger. Okay? I'll be right back. Now that our dough pretty much doubled the size here, we're gonna open these. And we're gonna flour our surface and pretty much. Now let's flour a little bit everything. And you're gonna divide these dough into 4 parts at first. And we're going to leave the other 3 parts at first here and cover with a damp cloth so it doesn't get dry. And now we're gonna just try to make like a rectangle here to make it easier. And you're gonna divide this dough into 3 parts. So basically I broke down into 4 parts at first. Now I'm gonna break down these into other 3. Now I'm gonna make like 12-inch ropes with all these 3 pieces that we broke here. So always starting from the middle and going to the extremes a little bit more. Now you get your baking sheet and you put the 3 ropes here. And now it's time for us to make our bread. So the first thing, you pinch a little bit on the end of those 3 breads, of these 3 ropes. And you can tuck a little bit and put like underneath. And now it's time for us to make our bread. So it's just basically baking a bread. So one here, the other one here, and then this one goes here. Now this one goes here, this one goes here, and finally this one goes here, and we do the same thing in the end. Now I'm going to repeat these with the other 3 and basically line these into 2 baking sheets. And you're gonna cover these with a damp cloth. Leave these for half an hour or until we double the size. And also turn your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? So now after 25 minutes, we need to put the egg wash into our bread. As you see, like it rises a little bit. So I basically use the other egg, the remaining egg, beat it here, and I'm going to wash it over the bread. And now let's sprinkle some sesame seeds on the top. And that's it. Now this is going to the oven for something between 20 to 30 minutes or until it starts to golden brown. All right, let's put this in the oven and see if this is going to work or not. So here's our 4 breads, or 4 challahs. So as you can see, they look interesting the way they grew up. Now it's the master chef time, that moment when Gordon Ramsay is going to cut the steak and see if the steak is completely cooked or not. I'm going to do right now and see if this looks good inside or not. So let's see it. Smells good. Let's get one piece here. It's good. If I'm doing this again, I probably will do more proofing time in the first stage, so we get more bubbles and more airy dough. But as you can see, the dough fermented really well, so it's still very good. For the sake of comparison, this one and the one on the bottom here, I baked for 25 minutes, and these two here I baked for 30 minutes, so they are a little bit more brown, which I actually prefer. But I ended up opening this one. But yeah, it's a very good recipe. It's very tasteful, very light, but yeah, it's very interesting. It's definitely recommend to do this challah bread recipe at your home. And thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave your comments what you like and what you don't like. And see you next week. Bye.